Sandy, super informal video for you. Today we're talking about the Vanguard series from KendoStar. Okay, we're specifically talking about our sort of staple sets in the series. Okay, that is the original Vanguard model here in the middle. We've got the essential model there, and we've got the Vanguard Myrmidon here as well. We're going to talk about them all very, very quickly. As I said, this is super duper informal. All right, I'm filming on my iPhone here. Okay, just with my AirPods in the KendoStar shipping center and warehouse. So it's a bit of a mess. We've got creaky floorboards going on. Hopefully it won't disturb the sound too much. I need to remember to look there and not here whilst I talk you through these. Okay, so first we're going to start with, I'm going to flip the camera around so that we can talk about it properly, and we can talk about the original Vanguard model first of all. So the Vanguard, the original Vanguard model, this is our flagship Bogu set. All right, it's our best-selling Bogu set by far. It's the set that essentially we launched the KendoStar brand off in a lot of senses. It's the sort of culmination really of sort of 15 years of working in the Bogu industry, coming towards what is, in a sense, the sort of optimum or best overall design for an all-purpose Bogu set that's brilliant for anybody. And it's especially good if you want a first Bogu set. If you're just starting out in Kendo, you want a first Bogu set that you can invest in, that's going to stay with you sort of throughout the first, you know, few hurdles in your Kendo journey. If you want to use a Bogu set well into your sort of challenging your first and your second and stuff like that, it's great as a beginner set. It's comfortable, it's protective, but it doesn't look like a beginner set, right? It doesn't look like a basic set. Okay, so even as you progress, it's going to travel that journey with you. And it's really good as well if you're not necessarily in that situation, if you're a teacher or if you're a more advanced practitioner, you're a competitor, and you want something that's going to be a partner for training, you know, for using in your everyday cake or that sort of thing. You can use it in Shiai as well, of course, because it's designed not only to be protective and comfortable, but super lightweight as well. How we've made it, right? Well, one of the things we did, it was quite innovative when we came to designing the stitching on this, right? You can see probably that the stitching width, right, the rows on that are quite wide. It's 10mm interval, all right? Before Vanguard came along, a lot of Bogu sets, they're all like 3mm, 2mm, very fine stitching, and people mistook that for high quality. And it's nothing to do with quality really. What we did is we came along and we said, right, you need to use the right stitching in the right parts of the Bogu. So what we've done here, we've used this wide stitching here, which leaves the futon very thick and padded. Okay, because obviously this is where you're going to get hit. All right, so you've got lots of protection, lots of cushioning here. But as you can see, when we get to the mendari, it's a little bit different. Can you see that? Is that coming up clear? That is tighter stitching. It's half the distance. All right, this is 5mm stitching, and it's in a diagonal pattern. All right, now the reason we've done that is the diagonal pattern helps it mold in this direction. Okay, and the 5mm pitch stitching, that gives it extra durability. Now it makes it a little bit thinner here, but this isn't a sort of primary impact zone. What you want here is you want extra durability, because here it's going to rub against your shoulders like this. All right, so you want that durability against that abrasion, and that tighter stitching is much better for that. And it also helps you shape it, okay? Because one thing that's very, very important about Kendo Bogu is wearing it properly and making sure it's shaped correctly. All right, so it looks correct. It's important not just for your gradings and your Shiai, but it's important in practice as well. And it's very easy to shape this Bogu set into the correct shape so that you look super sharp when you're practicing as well. Okay, so that's what we've done with the stitching. Got lots of protection, got lots of durability, shapeability. Materials we've used as well. This one is Orizashi. All three of these sets are Orizashi actually. Orizashi is a great material to keep it, you know, keep it budget friendly, but also lightweight and quick drying. So yeah, that's what you've got there. And it's an IBB duralumin mengane. This is the best mengane in my opinion. We use it on almost every Bogu set in KendoStar actually. The only one we don't use it on is the essential set, which we'll talk about in a minute. The IBB is it's a duralumin one, so it's nice and lightweight, but what it has, I wonder if you can see, the top two bars are a slightly different color to the others. Yeah, see how they're a bit shinier. It's because they're a toughened material, okay, a much stronger metal than these ones, all right? Because these are this is like it's like a kind of titanium type material, which is much heavier than the rest of the metal in the mengane. If you make the whole mengane out of this, it becomes very, very heavy. So what this does is it puts that strength just in the impact zone whilst retaining the nice lightweight feeling, all right? And it does make a big difference. And then secondly is, I don't know if you can see, but one of these, and this is on all mengane, okay, all mengane, on the bars here, one of these is a bit wider. Can you see that? Does that come out clear on the video? This is called the monomi, and this is what has to line up with your eyes. Okay, so it has to line up with your eyes. And when you line that up, that's what you'll be looking out of. And on an IBB mengane, this is slightly wider. I think it's like 1 millimeter wider. It's not a big amount, but it is something that's there. And that's the men. Moving on to other aspects of it. The kote, they follow the same 10 millimeter stitching on the futon as with the strike zone of the men. So you've got this nice thick protective kote. Now that's super, super important, right? You definitely want protection in the kote, all right? But what we've done is, although it's got an orizashi futon here, we've done a full synthetic leather fist section, all right? And that's for extra durability, all right? So you're keeping the cost down, but you're getting decent durability out of these, okay? These are a fantastic pair of kote. As a standalone pair of kote, these are one of our best-selling products on the whole KendoStar website. So they are a fantastic set of kote for all-purpose and all-round use as well. If we talk about the tare, tare is another place where we've used different types of stitching. You've got that 10 millimeter stitching on the obi here. Can you see that? Yeah, that makes it nice and flexible and soft and easy to wear. But also on the odare and the kodare, you have the finer 5 millimeter stitching again. All right, so that allows us to make this shape. Okay, so we can make a nice shape with it. And also because this is where it's going to rub against our thighs and stuff whilst we're practicing. So we want that protection against the abrasion that it's going to experience. All right, so you get that extra durability in that as well. The door that comes with it, as standard, 50-piece black synthetic door. Whoops, dropped it there. The 50-piece black synthetic door with a choice of Monet design as well. Yeah, these are the standard things. You can change the colour. If you change the colour, you might have to expect to wait a few weeks for it to be produced. All right, there's details on the website, okay, because the only ones we have in stock are the black ones. If you have it in a different colour, it's going to be made to order. Okay, right, now let's move on. Let's look at the essential model. The essential model, it's one of very, very popular questions that we get at KendoStar is what's the difference between the Vanguard, original Vanguard, and the Vanguard basic or the essential model. Essentially, what we've done with this is what we wanted to do was offer something like the Vanguard, but on a slightly more affordable budget for you know, maybe people who wanted Bogu sets for their club use, students, and generally people that weren't working to the same sort of budget. So what we did is we took the most important features, we kept them, and we stripped back some of the other features that were perhaps not as vital. So you'll see it still has that same 10 millimeter stitching on here, nice, thick, and protective Myrmidon. But when we get to the mendari, you'll see that it retains that same width in the stitching. All right, so it's still got the diagonal pattern. All right, so it's still a little bit more comfortable, but because it's 10 millimeter over the 5 millimeter that you get on the Vanguard, you do lose out a little bit on that durability against the abrasion on your shoulders. All right, another thing that as well I mentioned about the mengane, this is a standard duralumin mengane. Okay, so it doesn't have the reinforced bars, and it sort of we strip back some of the decorative features as well. Okay, so you'll see that, for example, on the mendari here, see if you look at the original one, you've got a row of kazari that goes down like that. Can you see that? Yeah, and same on the ago as well, you have a similar sort of thing. Whereas on the essential model, we've taken that out, and the ago is just a plain orizashi ago as well. All right, so it's much more simple, much more basic. Still a very serviceable, practical Bogu set. Similarly with the tare, I'll get to the kote in a minute. With the tare, again, we strip back on the kazari, okay, the decoration here, and again, you've got the same 10mm stitching here as you do on here, okay? So you're losing out a little bit on durability, but you are retaining the protection and the comfort, okay? And that's what I felt like was the most important aspect of a Bogu set, especially if it's if you're just getting into kendo, if it's for a beginner, or if it's for a club set or something like that. The great thing about the kote though is the kote are the exact same kote as from the original Vanguard set. Okay, so the kote are the exact same. Okay, you get the exact same kote. It's not a different kote. And the door as well. The door is the same 50-piece door die, but there is not a choice of minute. It's just this plain design door minute design here. Okay. Then moving forward, I'll just put that back on there. We'll have a look at the Vanguard Myrmidon. So the Vanguard Myrmidon takes the sort of concept of the original Vanguard and adds to it. Okay, so if we think of the essential model as taking the concept of it and stripping back the stuff that's perhaps not considered entirely essential, what we do with the Myrmidon is we take the concept and we see how far we can push it up. All right, so what we've done here with the Myrmidon, this is a really interesting and innovative Bogu set, is we use a special hybrid style of stitching. Okay, is that coming up clear on there? Good. So what you've got here is you've got very wide, these are 14mm intervals. Okay, 14mm intervals. But if we did it all just 14mm, we'd be a bit worried about the durability of that. So what we've also done is then 4 rows of 3mm in between. Okay, so it goes 14 and then 4 rows of 3mm, and then so you got 14, 3 rows of 3, and then another 14 like that. And then what that does is it creates these almost bumps. Okay, maybe it's easier to see from the inside. Yeah, you get these ridges. Okay, they're like big cushions. Okay, big cushions. And what that does is it really amplifies the protection that you're getting from this Bogu set. The shock absorption from this is absolutely fantastic. All right, so if you're really concerned about hard hits, preventing anything that could be painful, this is a great choice. All right, it takes that same 5mm stitching that the original model has on the mendali, so we retain as much durability and shapeability as possible. So you get the best of both worlds. Same mengane as well, that IBB duralumin mengane. So you've got the lightweight mengane with the reinforced bars there. And for an extremely protective men that's durable, looks awesome, is very comfortable as well. Now that hybrid stitching, that carries on to the kote as well. Okay, the kote as well. So you get, again, very, very thick, very, very protective kote again, as we've said. That is somewhere where you definitely want to have maximum protection. And you've probably already noticed by now that the palms on these are a little bit different. They are white versus the brown colour of the original and the essential model. This is a synthetic deerskin that we use on here, but on this one, this is genuine deerskin, bleached white. Okay, so it's a little bit more premium, feels nice and soft, looks quite nice as well, and it's got a little bit of sort of prestige to it. Durability wise, probably on a similar level, but you do get that sort of nicer feeling from that genuine deerskin on the kote palms. On the tare, of course, what we've done with this is again, we've used that hybrid stitching here, and we've added a bit of synthetic leather here to just protect from abrasion from the bottom of the door. Okay, this is a place where as you wear the tare, the door obviously has contact here and it wears away, so this protects against that. And then you've got this hybrid stitching here, and then we've used this gakuzashi style. All right, this gakuzashi style, which is where we have the hybrid stitching, and then we have our 5mm stitching around it. And the reason for that is it keeps the tare nice and thick and protective thanks to these, but we also get that durability from the finer stitching around it and the shapeability as well. So again, it's another case of best of both worlds. And you also get a few nicer features. If we compare the the tojikawa on the tare here. Can you see that there? Yeah, these are a sort of standard, simple type of leather tojikawa. Whereas what we do on these ones, we do it with the kazari style. So it just looks a little bit more premium as well. Okay, it's a very tiny detail. It's not a huge thing, but it is a little bit of something, you know. So basically what you've got there is you've got your original Vanguard. That's the base model. Okay, if it's a little bit out of reach for you, but you want the fantastic protective and comfortable features, then the essential model is what you want to look for. If you're looking for something for your club, for your, you know, your students, these sort of thing, it's a great choice for that in terms of budget friendly protective Bogu. If one of the questions we get a lot is it worth, if I can afford both, is it worth paying for the extra features of this? Of course, the answer is yes. It is worth having the better mengane, having the extra durability in the mendare and on the tare. And likewise, if you can afford to push your budget up to the Myrmidon, that extra protection you'll get from this hybrid stitching, the nicer materials you get on the kote, they are worth the extra if you can push your budget that far. And that's it. That is our Vanguard series. It is the sort of backbone of the Vanguard lineup. We have other Bogu sets in the Vanguard series as well, but they tend to be made to order. These 3 sets are generally kept in stock here at KendoStar. We're generally able to ship these out within 24 to 48 business hours. Again, depending on whether you choose a black door or whether you have a different colour. If you change the colour, it's going to take a little bit longer. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Very informal, I know. But I hope it was informative. And see you all next time. Bye-bye.